Exciting news, Farcasters! Our premier sponsor, Snickerdoodle, recently released their State of Farcaster 2024 report, and it's all about you. Ever wonder how your voice shapes this platform? They dive deep into the data to showcase how our crypto-native user base can drive innovation and product development. Want to see how you fit in? Check out snickerdoodle.com and download the full report. Remember, your engagement here isn't just social, it's shaping the future of decentralized media. Let's keep building this space together with Snickerdoodle.
GM Farcaster. It is Monday, October 7th, and you are here with me, not Nounish Prof. I am Adrienne, and I am joined with not Lynx, who is unfortunately under the weather and was supposed to be my co-host, but heavyweight Erica. GM Erica, how are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful. Fun fact, this is my second time hosting without Prof in 165 episodes.
I have a second fun fact for that too.
She has, and wait, what's that?
I have a second fun fact for that too.
Yes, go.
I'm the one who's only replaced her.
Yes.
Oh, yay!
Where did that confetti come from?
I don't know. I think it's the the iPhone or Mac thing.
The Mac thing.
Prompt all the
Amazing.
time.
Yeah. Yes. Fun fact, you have replaced her twice. You're my go-to. How are you?
I'm great. I love being your go-to.
All right.
Together forever, except for when Prof is here.
And GM, everyone, good to see friends in the chat, because you will see I know what I'm doing, but I'm slow. So we're going to get to it. So over the weekend, a lot of newsy things happen. A lot of news dropped. I'm sure Prof is not happy to be missing the channel recap. But let's start with I forget how to do this, guys. Farcaster Fridays. So Farcaster Fridays, first one was in September. October, first Friday of every month, is a little IRL event. So let's see if we can share a screen. Did you do any Farcaster Friday?
I did not. I actually just got back from New York that day, so I was dead to the world.
Oh, and I was away for the weekend. Sloth vibes, Naomi. Yes, it is sloth vibes today. It's Monday. Just bear with me. And hi, Al. I hope you are watching this from a nice bed where you're resting. Okay, so Farcaster Friday. Robin from MashiCam again with a I guess happy Farcaster Friday. Share a photo on MashiCam with the Farcaster Friday border for a chance to win the golden Moodang sticker. I don't know if anyone actually won it yet or if that's happening yet, but I like the MashiCam. There were events in Toronto, and people are posting, of course, with their MashiCams. The event in Los Angeles. We've got one in Denver. Shout out to Madrid, London.
So cute.
Everyone is adorable. First of all, there's a shout out in Kiev, Ukraine, with four people with the meetup. So if you can meet up in Ukraine, you can do one in your town. There's
that is pretty true.
And if you don't have one in your town, you can do a URL one. Prof and Burberry hosted a online poker for everyone. So JC, shout out, got to hang with some favorite Farcaster today for Farcaster Fridays. Thanks for hosting a wildly fun game, Nounish Prof and Burberry. I cemented the moment in this MashiCam featuring Jay Chian, Higher Hats, NHP, Hit List Firearm, 6 Bazinga Pups, Kevin O'Connell, DJ Headphones, DGen Cap and Vibes for all, Noggles for me and Prof. Can't wait to run it back. Ted and Robin join next time. Don't know what any of those words meant. Looks like fun. And that was Farcaster Fridays. So that's fun. Next one is first Friday in November. So if you haven't joined one, you have time to plan. And then channels dropped 2 2 days ago. So Dan Romero with the announcements, introducing the latest version of channels, announcing membership, announcement, channel page customization, streamlined channel feeds. Watch the video to get a sense for the changes rolling out over the next 30 minutes. I think this dropped Friday, 1 o'clock PST time-ish, was it?
Yep, around there. They were pretty much exactly on time for what they had planned. I think maybe like 15, 20 minutes after 1 o'clock.
I was on a road trip. I missed it all. And I had a little FOMO. This is a 3-minute and 40-second video. I'm wondering if anyone watched it, because people love to not watch or read things. But it was good. And then Dan with some guidance on how to think about channel changes. Best way to think about the new direction for channels: text-based Twitter space or Clubhouse, Tavern, Farhouse, etc. A bunch of people on stage that can talk. Even more people in the audience listening. If you're in the audience, you can raise your hand to speak. You may get invited up, but unlikely, especially if the audience is really large. But with channel casts, you can reply to any casts, and the channel members or mods can discover it with a few clicks. So discoverability, chance of getting on stage is much better. And remember, you can always cast in your home feed to your followers and create your own channel. So similar to, I guess it's the channels are now much more community driven. You have to be invited. It's very different than the kind of hashtag version that we've had for the past year. Horse facts immediately. New kind of ratio just dropped. I wonder which channel has the lowest. So this is I guess you can follow a channel and read it all. And then the number of members is who's allowed to post. Do you know which channel has the is it lowest ratio, highest ratio? I guess lowest. Is that the
idea? I would have to guess it's probably a larger channel that has really brought the hammer down on invites.
It's FC updates.
That makes sense.
Yeah, which is only Merkel can post.
I saw an interesting cast. I'm not sure if it's up on the queue, but someone did say that the channel changes are more of a like communicate to connect now, not communicate to like go viral or something like that. And I thought that was interesting because I think a lot of the more I'm uncomfortable with this change type of feedback is coming from people having to get used to, oh, my reach is now much lower than I would expect it to be on a platform that originally was talking about being a Twitter, sister or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Lynx actually yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was Lynx.
Hold it up. So Lynx's hot take on channels. Channel changes have significantly changed the Farcaster game we're all playing. Let's talk about it. The old meta was cast in channels for distribution. New meta is cast in channels for connection. The reasons for casting in channels have changed. Casting in channels is friction. You have to select the channel rather than YOLOing your post to your followers. The new channel changes add more friction because you must be a member while reducing the algo boost. We will likely have far fewer casts in channels, but hopefully those casts will get engagement from people who actually care about the topic. Connection isn't easily measurable, but the idea is that you will be more satisfied posting into a channel because the quality of discourse will be higher. And then he goes on, old meta is build an audience, PvP. New meta, build a community, TVT. What does T stand for? Is that team? Lynx, help me out.
Titillating?
Is it what? I'm going to say team versus team, like, because you're community versus community. But this is interesting because, it's tribe.
Yes, because Farcaster onboarding website says find your tribe.
I kind of like it. This is interesting, right? Because even if we all talk about how Farcaster's like the community base, like how different it is, there's still, you're kind of conditioned when you have something that looks exactly like Twitter to kind of think traditional social media and grow your distribution or followers. So, and yet everyone who's stuck around keeps talking about like what makes Farcaster special is like meaningful connections and good discourse and relationships. So maybe this does change like formally for people.
Yeah, I think it's an uphill battle for people who have been around for a while, but maybe not super active. Like there's the people who are active every single day on Farcaster and have been for the last 6 to 12 months, let's say, or anyone before that. They're going to be like, yeah, this makes sense. We know the team iterates a lot. We know that this is not the final stage of the changes, et cetera, et cetera. But for anyone who's relatively new, they came into an ecosystem that was described to be very Twitter-like, with just a little touch of Reddit because of the channels. And so for those people who are a little bit newer, they're having to now change what looks like a Twitter interface in front of them to something that behaves more like Facebook almost, because the channels are much more like the private Facebook groups. And then your feed is much more representative of you posting out to who you are friends with on Facebook. And I think that is a change that people are going to have to get used to.
Yeah. And I guess, yeah, so let's go into the feelings because we can, there's some more news about how channels actually work, but I think people come for the feelings of how are people processing it. I thought this was interesting because depending on who you're hanging out with, who you're following, what you're seeing on your feed, you might think the narrative is channels is a complete failure. It's horrible, must revert back because everyone's freaking out. Some people love it. Dan did the little poll. Results are in. I thought it was kind of interesting that it's like 75% good or neutral, 20. Oh no, this is 31% bad. Why does it show different when I?
It might be because you have a different filter toggled on for the respondents.
Power badge or something in the feed. But either way, it's like a somewhat decent like distribution between good, neutral, and bad, which I think anytime something changes. And so then a lot of people chimed in on kind of advice on how to think about and process changes. Toady Hawk with some unsolicited advice. Don't think of, which by the way, that is the nature of all, nothing is ever solicited. Okay. We're all giving unsolicited advice. Don't think of the new channels framework as some new set of exclusive clubs. And I think this is because a lot of the response was like, oh, I can't post in channels. This is now becoming kind of too much of a gated community and elite, too elite, can't get in, exclusive. There's no benefit to joining a channel for the most part, aside from posting privileges. So no point pining after memberships you may not even need. More helpful to consider the new system like a dynamic CAPTCHA, where instead of frantically clicking on 15 fire hydrants, you just need to prove that you're a human who will contribute quality content to a community. Attention is a very scarce resource, and no one owes it to you by default. Prove you're not a spammer, and since most of you are not, it should be pretty easy, and then enjoy slop-free channels with the rest of us. Final note, if you are an earnest contributor looking for a membership to a channel so you can continue to post there, give a little patience and grace to the owners, moderators for the next few days as we all figure out the best tools to use for moderation. And don't be afraid to send a friendly message asking to be invited. Good advice, reasonable.
Which is important. A friendly message to be invited. I've already seen some very unfriendly messages being passed around.
I haven't seen the friendly message. I mean, I haven't seen the unfriendly messages, but I'm going to say based on this cast from Compass.eth, who is the owner of Super Rare Channel. GN, I stayed up all night yesterday, spending all my time accepting as many artists as I could. But it's outrageous that instead of gratitude, you complain about why I didn't accept you. Many people are complaining about me, saying, you've removed all of us without any reason. Why me? More than 90% of users were automatically removed from all channels in Farcaster yesterday, and this has nothing to do with us, the admins. You were really disgusting. That's ouch. I have no responsibility for accepting anyone. As of this moment, I have no free time. I resigned from management and take no responsibility for this matter. Best wishes for all of us. Compass, I'm sending you my deepest thoughts and prayers.
Perfect example of a couple bad apples can ruin the bunch, right? Like, I'm sure this wasn't every single artist that was acting this way, but you get a couple of people being douche monkeys, and someone rage quits, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, and what do they do? Why are they not accepting? Like, they're busy accepting everyone, and the tooling. Like, there's actually a lot of tooling out of the gate.
Mhm.
But it doesn't mean everyone knows where it is, how to find it, how to use it. Like, we're all figuring out channels in the beginning, so a little grace, I think, is warranted.
I think that's the
Um,
nature of this kind of launch within a distributed ecosystem too, is like a lot of those tools are not from Warpcast to manage, right? Like they're from other teams that stepped up to the plate, especially once AutoMod sunsetted, to take on that responsibility. So that also makes it a certain level harder, is that the resources for management are also distributed.
right. Do you own a channel?
I do. I own a
What
couple.
is yours?
Obviously, I own Heavyweight, which Matthew actually posted something asking, why are people posting in personal channels? Personal brand, curated feed of what I see as being very Heavyweight. And then I also own the Poop channel.
I'm sorry, though. Oh,
Yes,
the poop channel.
yeah, which
What
I
happened
don't
with poop?
know what to do with it now, but I think gut health would be a fun one.
Ooh, that's good. Have you talked to Keckers about a little collab?
That's who I was going to reach out to and see if she wanted to do the gut health. Poop.
Very nice. Have
Maybe.
you done, do people post in your personal channel?
No, only one person has ever tried posting in my personal channel, and that was it. And I let them post because it was a question about me. But I am really enjoying having god level superpowers for removing people from posting to my channel.
I have a personal channel that no one posts in, and people are welcome to, but I don't really, I did it because everyone was doing personal channels, and I follow the herd. The meta of this weekend seems to be there's no point of a personal channel anymore, just like cast your home feed. But you know
I
what?
think that's a small vision. I think personal channels are going to have a lot of potential with this type of control over who can post into it, because now it means you have entirely all of the power to curate that channel to be exactly what you want. I think we're going to see them evolve similar to how like influencer accounts have evolved in other platforms, but it'll just be really interesting because now people can actually hold multiple personas, multiple personalities with this new approach.
You're not a Gemini, are you?
No.
No, just because there's a lot of Geminis here, and we talk about our multiple personalities. I'm not talking about myself or Prof. Just,
No, I'm Scorpio and Aries.
oh,
Supposedly means I have a lot of internal conflict.
happy birthday sometime soon then?
Yes, in a month and a week.
Exciting.
It's during DevCon, by the way, for everyone who's coming to DevCon. You can
Are you
celebrate.
going to DevCon?
Yes.
I can't handle the FOMO. I think
Come.
I can't handle it. And what's your so then what is so I imagine you haven't set up like any of the tooling for Heavyweight or Poop.
Yes.
What has your experience been with channels you're a member of over the weekend? Like, did you automatically get kind of membered into the ones you want? Was it confusing for you? Which
I think I benefited from my extreme resistance to clearing out my digital spaces, because I followed and like was a member of 30 something channels when the change went over. And I posted to them quite frequently. So I was automatically converted to a member in most of the channels that I post in. So I had no trouble. I've reached out to one channel that I wasn't converted as a member into, and I haven't heard back yet, but I'm being very demure, very mindful, and not messaging them again until it's been a few days.
giving them some grace
Yeah.
for some time.
Yes.
Um,
I asked very nicely. I sent a little hee hee and a smiley face at the end. So, you know,
I'm so curious what channel it is.
it was really pop.
Girly Pop?
Yeah. I
So
got
you're
to
getting in.
have access to my girlies.
You're getting in.
All right.
All right. This is the, Ted has some good advice for, I think for people who are upset channels aren't perfect yet or not getting in. When's the last time you made a major lifestyle change, diet, sleep, etc., and were 100% happy with it and adjusted after 2 days? My guess is never. The new channel setup is a huge infrastructure change, less than 48 hours old. Allow it to settle. It's new for all of us. Merkle users, mods, we'll figure it out together. So similar sentiment. I think it's so much more than infrastructure change. Like to Lynx's point, it's the whole kind of how you approach and think about how you communicate. So it feels like way too big for me. And like, I think it's going to take a few more days to settle.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of more advice on the, like, I think it's like as a channel owner, you got to figure out how you want to manage your channel. But then I think there's a lot more people who don't own channels, but trying to figure out where to cast, who are your member in. Deodad's advice: before you complain about not being allowed to cast in a channel, write a short, simple, and thoughtful note to the owner or a moderator, letting them know you'd like to contribute and see what they say. If this is too much for you, then maybe it's not that important and you can just post to main. And that's some good truth there. And I think that's like probably the people who want to complain are the ones who are like offended they weren't automatically in. And like anything, it's like you got to kind of, Farcaster requires proof for work, but not even proof of that much work. It's like, just be a little thoughtful, just a little bit, little human.
At the same time, I think this is a really great opportunity for people to carve out their own spaces if they are not being accepted into a channel that they want to be a part of, or a channel is going a different direction that they don't agree with. That's the beauty of channel creation being permissionless at this stage, right? Is that if you're not down with how the design channel or the memes channel, like one of the larger topic channels, is being run, go and make an offshoot. Like I have Design Crit, actually, I forgot I had that one too, which is all like a place for people to post their designs specifically to be critiqued. So, I think it's really exciting that people can now start to learn, like, I have the power to carve out a space for me and people who follow my ideals, my belief systems, whatever.
Didn't they always have that power? Or is it just now because it's a little more restrictive, like controlling actually who can come in? You have more kind of like controls over community.
I think it's so clear that you have that agency with how they exist, like the new channel changes are, because there is a certain level of gating to it. And so that as soon as there's a gate up, people start to look in other directions, right? To see like, where else can I go? There was no gate before. So.
And I guess this is where people start to realize, like, guess what? Community building is hard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you can complain, but it's like, go build your own.
Yeah.
An opportunity for a new channel.
Yeah. Opportunity for a new channel, opportunity for a new client. The meta has changed. I also think I'm really curious to see how the subscriptions go. That is one thing I'm both worried about and excited for, because I fear that certain larger channels can price out different people. Like, people are already paying $5, to sign up to Warpcast, $7 right now with the App Store, on top of it. And now a lot of channels are charging $1 a month. So if you are a member of 10 of the most popular channels and you want to cast in all of those, there's an extra $120 a year that you have to pay to participate. And so,
but like anything, right? Free market, which is things will get big. They're expensive. That's fine. When people get priced out, there's like go start a new one.
Yeah.
Go find your own crew of like people who are also priced out, and
exactly.
Or
pay it and then play the lottery of getting reimbursed by casting a banger. Like, that's what a lot of the large channels are doing. Is I know Johnny Mac only takes 4% of all of the channel revenue for the work that he does moderating it as a singular moderator. And Memes is like one of the largest channels. 96% of the revenue goes back into like the coffers of the channel. That's then distributed out to the people who have casted the best, memes. I think that is a great way to give it back to the people who make the community what it actually is.
Yeah, that's incredible. So it's like you pay your hyper sub. So through in, that's your membership.
Exactly.
Some goes to the mod, and then the rest gets distributed. Is it distributed through Hypersub? They do rewards, I guess.
I'm pretty sure it's probably through Hypersub. I'm not sure. Cool. Like, that would be a great guest to have on to explain also what it's like to manage a community in the new, the new world.
Let's see. We'll do a few more kind of lessons about channels. Peachy wrote, who's always great about some channel changes, or can't speak today, guys. All right. Channel changes have been in effect for 48 hours, and she's sharing some lessons learned. So number one, be sure to follow the channel you want to be invited to. Some automated tools don't work correctly unless you've already followed the channel. That sounds obvious. Don't ask to. Number two, for hyper subgated channels, best to also follow the hyper bot until the kinks are worked out. Three, be sure your notifications are set to priority notifications so you can see the channel tab. Scroll the whole tab to make sure you didn't miss an invite. And that's interesting. When you have priority notifications on in your notifications tab now, there's a whole separate tab just for kind of channel notifications. Number four, there are a lot of bugs. Give grace and assume hosts have the best intentions, but are trying to figure it out all too. And five, I'm no longer getting notifications from anyone unless I follow them. This is supposedly a bug. For now, best to go through your casts and check the replies manually. You may have way more than you think. Also check show more replies until the channels have more members. And then, Dan, some advice. People should give feedback to channel owners that overuse announcements. So speaking of the channel announcement tab, the notifications, channels can send announcements now, which is kind of the blast. I think people have complained about like too many. But just like anything, give feedback, send a DC, tag them in a cast, co-create the community you want it to be. And if they're not receptive, this is leave, unfollow, create a new one. Stop thinking of channels as canonical topics. I mean, it's been 48 hours. They're not hashtags anymore. Get with the program.
His cast and Ted's cast. Ted being like, be patient. You're not going to get used to it in 2 days. Dan being like, it's been 2 days, guys. It's not a hashtag anymore.
I don't know why. I don't know why you haven't gotten the memo yet. It's been 2 days. God forbid the poor people who've touched grass this weekend and come back and still think of channels as canonical topics.
Yeah.
He gets a reply, give me 2,500 warps and I will, which is classic. And guess what? He said, Dan sent him 100. Find 4 more people to give you 100 warps. So I wonder if that happened yet. I liked this from nintynick.eth. 2022, Warpcast is Twitter. 2023, Warpcast is Reddit. 2024, Warpcast is Discord. 2025, Warpcast is Telegram. This made me laugh. I think Dan responded just saying like, yeah, finding product market fit is hard. And honestly, we're like, if we try too hard, I guess at some point, I guess the meta has to be Warpcast is its own thing.
I was just about to say there will come a point where you can no longer directly compare Warpcast to a traditional like behemoth that already exists, because that's the beauty of it being within a distributed ecosystem is even though Warpcast may exist as one comparable, you can customize your experience with all of those Legos around it to make it whatever you want.
Yeah. All right. Final few things on channels. This from Seneca, who runs base builds. The difference in running around on base builds pre and post update is night and day. I was spending over 5 hours every weekend fighting spammers and low effort grifters. All that is gone. Incredibly happy with the update and excited to get rounds closer to a buttery smooth experience. So that is nice. Varun added, membership channels have a lot of trade-offs, but the big upside that I'm excited about is how much easier it's going to be to run a large community. And by the way, I think if you run a small community, it shouldn't be that hard either. You don't need to overcomplicate. Like, have people send you a DM, get added, you know, you can manually add, you can talk, people can still reply. It seems like it shouldn't be that difficult.
I'm a moderator for Wellness, which had like 2,200 followers when the change swapped over, dropped down to 100, talked to my co-moderator, Montej, and we were just like, let's let everyone in, and then we'll just prune out the people who obviously should not be there.
Yeah. And then Dan, I think I won't go into all these, but Dan is responding, I think, to a lot of the feedback people have about making it harder for newer people. And like always, I think he's being genuine and earnest in his replies, and it's just it's new and they will iterate. So, and I'll just end on the, we'll wrap up the channels. There's a few other pieces of news to go over, but from Humpty.eth, I've got to admit the recent channel update has 1,000 times the UX of channels. I also think many, including myself, have a clearer vision of the role of channels and us as a channel owners in onboarding people to Farcaster, dare I say crypto bullish. So some people are happy about channels. And let's see, we'll do a few other pieces of Farcaster news. This from Trisel.eth 42. Do you know what 42 stands for?
The secret to life.
Wait, is it?
Yeah, in the one movie, like at the very end when he's been searching for this Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I think it's 42. The big computer at the end, all it says, the answer to life is 42.
Okay, that's amazing because 42 is also, he is the last caster standing in the Warpcast top rewards. Him and Keckers had a very, very close battle at the end. I think she just fell off with only 41 days. He got 42. He says the key to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. The amount of days I've gotten Warpcast rewards, my age next year, it seems I have won Farcaster. Thank you to the fellow legends on this list and the Merkle team. I'm in a tight spot lately, and this has come in clutch. So congratulations. Trisel, does this feel conspiratorial to you, the 42?
Maybe.
Is this proof we're living in the simulation?
I think it is. I'm pretty convinced that the timeline shifted in 2016, and it has shifted again this summer.
Ooh. All right, and these are the top rewards. So people getting paid. How are you enjoying your $5?
I made a post about it too yesterday, actually.
Oh, I didn't pull it up.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I don't know if you saw it, but if you didn't, I will quickly describe it here, which is I got 30 days, I think, 28 or 30 days. So I did pretty decently. I kind of forgot about it a lot. I just stream of consciousness did my normal stuff. But I was very happy because it paid for my physical therapy session this month.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So
I actually used it for not just pumpkin spice lattes. I did use it.
You didn't get 30 days in a row, did you?
No, I usually like lost like 1.5 days a week, I'd say, where I didn't get it. Yeah.
I also, all right. This from Phil. Welcome, Danielle Trussoni. Danielle Trussoni is the New York Times bestseller of 7 books. Her latest novel, The Puzzle Box, is out October 8th. She has agreed to do an AMA for the book's channel. Reply with your questions. I'm going to make the assumption that I don't know that she's not a crypto author. And I love, love, love starting to see kind of, this is like, books is pretty, it's a general topic that people agree we like. So to start bringing in new people and onboarding, I think it's awesome to see, but that's cool.
Yeah, so.
This from Brian Kim. Ironically, the best way to contribute to Farcaster as a dev right now isn't building on Farcaster. It's building an app that gets a ton of users and then Farcaster pilling them. What do you think? Agree?
There we go. That's what I think. That is exactly our philosophy. Like, obviously, we have our own things to put on it for unofficial. But this is our thing, is that the best way to help out the Farcaster ecosystem is to provide a truly differentiated experience, not just differentiated from Warpcast, but also trying to just differentiate from crypto and Web3 in general, and bring something that people are a little bit more familiar with to try and get them over from, outside of Web3.
And for those that don't know, and I'm not sure who that is, but Erica is the co-founder of Unofficial and building a Farcaster client called Uno. I had this conversation with someone recently about GM Farcaster, because we generally believe we are doing Farcaster news. So I look at Farcaster as our audience. And this is one of the reasons we don't really promote so much on YouTube. I'm not trying to game the YouTube algorithm. It's just, I want to bring people in through Farcaster. So it's like, if you're on Farcaster, come to GM Farcaster for news. And someone was kind of having me rethink that recently and saying, well, I don't know, maybe you can yes, you're talking about Farcaster, but imagine bringing people on to Farcaster through the show.
That is similar to something we were talking about many, many moons ago, which was like the Faces of Farcaster or something like that, where it was bringing people on and asking them not to talk about work and not to talk about crypto and just to talk about the things that make them them.
And why did we not do this when we said we gotta do it?
I was supposed to be the one leading that series, and I got
And then you
distracted.
became a co-founder, and
Yeah,
now you're in founder mode.
yeah, exactly.
By the way, Erica's in founder mode, but still has time for GM Farcaster. We love you. Please
So
always make time for us. So if you were thinking of because a lot of people are building on Farcaster and look at the TAM, like limited TAM as like as big as Farcaster, but I don't know, flip it. It's like maybe you bring people to Farcaster. Maybe you grow the Farcaster TAM.
yeah, we've never been super worried about the TAM of Farcaster because one, we have complete faith and conviction that it's going to grow either by itself or with us, moving along with it. And two, it's kind of like, what's the phrase of like worry about your own shoe or tying your own shoe before you like try to tie someone else's or something like that?
Yeah. Is it the air mask in the airplanes?
Yes.
Carry your own mask.
Yeah.
And tie the shoes. From Snickerdoodle in their state of Farcaster report, Farcaster's daily active users surged 1,486% in 2024. These folks are active and receptive and have high purchasing power, leverage to the fullest. Download the report below. I love the zoomed out, like if you go into micro, right, you see the like, oh, growth has slowed or this, but kind of zoomed out, is it 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 4 steps forward, 1 step back? A year ago, if you remember, that was like just permissionless, and there were like less than 1,000 daily active users.
That's when I joined.
A lot of people, there's a frame right now that is showing the like how old you are, how old your account is on Farcaster, and I'm seeing a lot of people with the like coming on the 2-year mark. Mine is next month, so
very exciting.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to give a shout out for my background. If you didn't recognize it, it's a rose.
Renee Campbell.
It's a Renee Campbell macro photography. I took a photo of a rose, and I just kind of am obsessed with it. So
who wouldn't be? It's purple and it's beautiful.
All right. So I think we'll just wrap it up with 2 casts. Nonlinear Farcaster feels alive again. Agree, disagree?
I agree. I think when people are fighting over a new feature, that's a really good sign because it means people care.
Totally agree. Right? Like even the negativity is like, it's like let me feel something. Like you're not, if you don't care, you're not going to complain. So, and then I don't think this is related, but it felt like it is. Speaking of feeling alive, TLDR.
I mean,
is encouraging people to treat Farcaster as a dating app, I think.
What about the gays, Tim? What about the gays?
I think the gays can still do it. Anyway, so this is Woj said, make your kids proud today, which is a lovely aspirational thing to say, like do something to make your kids proud today. By the way, Woj is not a father, right?
No, he most definitely is not, as far as I'm used.
And TLDR just responded into the romance channel, make your kids today. Lovely. It's
is it time to bring my matchmaking app back from the depths of the back of my mind in January? Yeah.
Yeah. You want to pitch it? You've got one? Is it on Farcaster? Is it matchmaking on Farcaster?
Mapped out the entire UX from end to end for a platonic matchmaking app for Farcaster based on the open social graph. That could very easily become not platonic. So
what does platonic? Does platonic mean finding friends?
Yeah.
Isn't that just Farcaster?
Yeah, but it was like a cute little Tinder interface, and then I would like smart populate a little stack of Tinder cards for you on who I thought you should meet. And then you'd be able to swipe through and then book a call with them like directly through the app.
I love it. I need Uno to take off and get to your billion so that you can make all these other apps and ideas that you have and your Humans of Farcaster podcast.
Or no, it'll just be a side project because I'm unstoppable.
Oof, unstoppable. Love it. All right, what else did we miss?
How was your weekend, Adrienne? Did you enjoy your week last week, seeing some people who were in town?
So obviously, if you listen to GM Farcaster, I talked about how much I loved seeing people who were in town. Erica and I got to hang out at the base meetup in New York City, and it was awesome. How was your week in New York?
It was great. I had a really fun time. Yeah, I got to go to one of Winnie's Chipped events, met a lot of ladies in crypto, which was wonderful.
Ooh. Did you get chip nails?
I did not yet because she has a box especially for me, which are the short rainbow nails.
Ooh, love it.
Yes.
All right. Please take pictures when you get them.
Oh, I will.
And then this weekend, I did a road trip with some girlfriends to
Cute.
Penn State for a Penn State football game. And by the way, it is like college football is the cultiest thing ever. So much like it's insane. I don't really understand football people.
Ditto.
It was fun. It was fun. I prefer my crypto cult to football cult. But it was good. All right. So I guess week ahead, Nounish Prof is in Los Angeles for Nounstown, and she's going to be casting a ton. On Wednesday, we're back with me and Cameron and Kristen for 29 minutes of Farcaster news and some bangers. Prof is back on Thursday. On Wednesday, we're going to be 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So like a completely different time than we ever are. I will remind you. And yeah, so that's it. I think have a wonderful day. Good luck with the channel changes. Hang in there, people. It's going to be okay. And with that, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.